In this video, we will walk through installation and cable prep for the AFL RTD Splice Terminal. Before beginning any installation, always follow locally accepted fiber optic safety practices. Use a power meter or other means to verify ports are dark and never look directly into fiber ends. To open the terminal, first release the pressure valve to ensure no pressure or vacuum is present. Then lift all wire latches and swing open the main door. Carefully remove the splice trays one at a time by disengaging from the hinge using a flathead screwdriver. Rotate the splice tray to remove it and set it aside. If factory installed pigtails are in the splice tray, do not hang or leave the fiber under tension when setting aside. If cables are being installed after the terminal has been mounted, the factory installed pigtails can temporarily be removed from the splice tray by opening the white V-clip cover at the splice tray. First, remove the clear splice tray cover. Gently push the mesh toward the splice tray to slide the mesh insert out of the clip. Open the clip cover, which hinges to one side. The cover snaps on the hinge on the clip. Remove the stored pigtails with the mesh insert from the splice tray and the V-clip and set aside where they will not be damaged. Replace the splice tray cover, leaving the V-clip attached to the splice tray. To reinstall the cables, remove the splice tray cover once again, slide the mesh insert over the pigtails with a tapered end toward the mesh and slide the mesh tube an inch or two over the mesh insert. Open the V-clip cover and lay the mesh into the open clip about an inch or two behind the end of the mesh. Close the V-clip cover and fully engage the insert by pulling the mesh gently so the insert fully sits inside the V-clip. The mesh should extend at least half an inch beyond the clip. The Cable Attachment Unit, or CAU, allows a cable to be retained and installed in an unused cable port. Parts of the CAU include the sheath end, hose clamp gear nest, alignment slot, and the spur bracket. Note that the cable strength members are secured via a separate retention bolt in the terminal base. Cables must be clean and free of all tape, dirt, or contamination for proper sheath retention and sealing. Installation of the CAU will vary based on cable type. For AFL Rapid Tube Cable, WTC, there is no need to secure strength members. Armored WTC outer sheath will end at the CAU sheath end location. A tab must extend beyond the sheath end for ground clamp attachment. Note that for AFL WTC or other preferential bend cables, the strength rod should position so the natural bend of the cable aligns with how the cable tails are to be coiled. For parallel coiling, strength members should be positioned at 12 and 6 o'clock, top or bottom. For mid-sheath on all WTC SWR binders or tubed flat matrix ribbon, ensure there are no twisting in mid-sheath opening that occurs to trap groups. Once securing the hose clamp, the spur bracket must be installed completely under the hose clamp ring at the top of the cable. For all thin-walled jettable micro cable, install the hose clamp without the spur bracket. For traditional cable types, secure the hose clamp and install the spur bracket, making sure it is properly oriented with the spur bracket at the top of the cable. If the cable is armored, a tab should be left for the ground clamp. The tab should be left past the hose clamp. Tighten the hose clamp to 30 inch-pounds, which is about the maximum one can hand tighten on a can wrench. The AFL RTD Splice Terminal comes with two isolated ground studs, which may be externally bonded if desired. Cable bonding hardware is available using the AFL Apex grounding clamps. Bonding hardware is typically defined by local practice or end user. However, two ground eyelet straps for up to 1/4 inch ground stud are pre-installed in the terminal. If cable grounding is not required, the ground straps can be removed or cut off. If cable grounding is required, slit the cable armor on both sides at approximately 1 inch to leave a tab of armor. This will be just past where the cable attachment unit will be installed. Attach bonding hardware to the cable armor following local accepted practice. Install the CAU as outlined in the previous section. After installing the cable in the closure, the grounding strap can be attached to the bonding hardware. The AFL RTD Splice Terminal has two feeder cable ports that support one cable per port with an outer diameter ranging from 0.25 to 0.83 inches. Measure and prep the feeder cable according to your installation plan. You may reference the feeder cable length table located in the printed instructions for guidance on cable length. Install the cable attachment unit at the sheath end, ensuring the spur bracket is properly oriented. Remove the orange port plug from the cable port entrance. Next, place the CAU in its alignment tab and trim strength members to the necessary length to fit under the retention bolt. This is typically 1.75 to 2 inches. Secure the strength members under the retention bolt without trapping or pinching any tubes. Begin to thread the CAU retention screw using a 2/16 can wrench. If using a cable with a preferential bend, such as AFL WTC, have their strength members aligned in the proper orientation to follow the necessary cable tail routing. Confirm the hose clamp tail is in position to be retained. Ensure the CAU is fully seated and flush on both sides. If the cable requires grounding, bond the cable armor to the ground stud via a provided ground strap. After verifying everything is installed properly, hand tighten the hose clamp to 30 inch-pounds to secure the cable. When running cables in the backplate of the AFL RTD Splice Terminal, there are some slight variations between routing loose tube cable and routing ribbon cable. To route loose tube, separate the tubes to be brought to the splice tray and store the remaining slack in the backplate. The bundle should route around the splice tray yoke. Neatly secure the slack bundle to the lances using supplied Velcro. Route the tubes to be used under the retention tabs and under the stored bundle. Secure under the Velcro. Reinstall the splice trays by engaging the hinge pin onto the yoke and rotating the tray into place. Note that the splice tray should always be installed and used from the bottom up. Route the tubes to be used into the splice tray and mark the tubes slightly beyond the wall of the splice tray. Ensure the tubes will have the proper amount of slack behind the yoke and will not kink or catch on anything with the tray hinged. The splice tray will lock into its upper position when raised. Secure the tubes to the splice tray entrance using supplied adhesive foam and tie wraps. To route ribbon cable, separate the ribbon to be brought to the splice tray and store in the remaining slack in the back plate. Ribbon fiber can be stored in the front of the splice tray yoke to reduce risk of fiber trapping. For AFL WTC, the water blocking tape can extend over the central strength member retention place to provide additional protection. Neatly secure the slack bundle to the lances using supplied Velcro. Use the Velcro with the soft side facing down on the fiber. Route the ribbon to be used under the retention tabs, secure under the Velcro. Reinstall the splice trays by engaging the hinge pin onto the yoke and rotating the tray into place. Route the ribbon to be used around the yoke and secure at the splice tray entrance. AFL recommends using either the AFL wrapping tube cable, spiderweb ribbon foam retention, or the supplied adhesive foam and the tie wraps. Note that the fiber should have movement after being secured to ensure no attenuation. Ensure the ribbon has proper amount of slack behind the yoke and will not kink or catch on anything with the tray hinged. The AFL RTD Splice Terminal holds 2 splice trays, and in each tray holds 2 splice modules. The splice tray are universal for loose tube, ribbon, spiderweb ribbon splicing applications. Splice trays for the AFL RTD Splice Terminal come fully loaded, but splice modules are field removable. To remove a splice module, disengage the locking tabs on the back with a pair of shears or similar, and slide the module to release the latches. To reinstall a splice module to the splice tray, align the latch tabs with the module slot on the splice tray. Slide to engage. Loose tube fiber or spiderweb ribbon or other rollable ribbon is spliced using slack storage in this tray. Flat matrix ribbon is routed differently to avoid any crossover of flat matrix ribbon in the splice tray. This method leaves 15 inches of the ribbon pigtail. Splicing spiderweb ribbon to the flat matrix ribbon pigtail should be routed the same way, except the spiderweb ribbon can have additional slack loops in the tray like loose tube fiber. Alternatively, splicing can be done prior to routing the fiber in the backplate to allow more room for splicing on the table if desired. Refer to the feeder cable length table for determining appropriate length. Once all splicing is complete, ensure all slack is dressed neatly in the splice tray and backplate. Return splice trays to the original horizontal position with their covers on. Reroute mesh pigtails back to their original position. Ensure cables are properly secured to the CAUs. Close the cover of the terminal and secure all the wire latches. After completing the cable installation and splicing, the supplied drive screws and hose clamps are needed to seat the cable ports. Ensure the cable jacket is free from all tape, dirt, or contamination for proper sealing. Install the hose clamps around the cable port entrance. Position the hose clamp gear to the side away from the drop cable bracket for easy re-entry. Hand tighten the hose clamp with a 3/8 can wrench until the two port halves are flush with each other, which is approximately 10 inch-pounds. Next, pull apart the two halves of the drive screw and place around the cable tail. Align the drive screw with the port entrance and thread the drive screw by hand into the port. The drive screw should be hand tightened until it reaches a positive stop. The AFL RTD Splice Terminal can be ordered empty with no adapters and no pigtails when using the standard droplet version to allow for PLC splitter assemblies to be installed in the field. AFL recommends using 900 micron fiber splitter assemblies with a 1 meter length pigtail to properly route the assembly to the splice tray. It is recommended to install woven mesh, spiral wrap, or similar over the 900 micron fiber for added protection. AFL offers mesh and silicone spiral wrap as options. To install splitters, first install mesh, spiral wrap, or similar above the splitter assembly. Approximately 30 inches is needed to reach the splice tray. Plug in the pigtail connectors to the adapters, ensuring they are inserted in the correct numerical order. Note that AFL recommends inspecting and cleaning each connector prior to making a connection. Using the fiber management clips, route the pigtails over the splice tray. Use Velcro to secure the pigtails to the lance on the backplate. Secure the pigtail bundle to the splice tray entrance and place the PLC splitter chip in the far splice module slot. AFL recommends using the foam retention pieces or similar to protect the fiber. Ensure the fibers still have free movement after securing to prevent attenuation. Adjust the slack as necessary. By following these steps, you can ensure a safe, efficient, and reliable installation of feeder cables using the AFL RTD Splice Terminal. Remember to always adhere to local safety practices, properly prep and route cable, and secure all components for optimal performance. Careful attention to detail during installation helps protect your fiber network and support long-term system integrity. For more training resources and support, visit aflglobal.com.